Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Doctor Who Christmas special video. Hopefully you've had a chance to see it. Definitely a lot of fun. Not quite what I expected, but it was really fun. Nick Frost totally killed it as Santa Claus. I know everyone really wants to talk about the ending as well as, the one big twist in the middle. So we'll get to that. So I'll start with top 5 moments and then I'll do Easter eggs and then my review. And a new round of the giveaway starts right now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. Real simple. And I'll just do a Q&A tomorrow where I'll announce the winner. So tangerines and magic carrots, let's get going. Careful for spoilers if you have not seen the episode yet, starting with top 5 moments. Number 5, Santa meets Clara for the first time. I guess we should say Dream Santa Claus meets Clara for the first time. She seemed surprised to see him, so if she saw Santa Claus in her dreams as a child, he looked different. I totally love Nick Frost, but I haven't seen a lot of his non-Cornetto stuff, so my mind mostly went to that place whenever I was watching him kind of stumble over his words, trying to pretend like he was not Santa Claus. I'm sure somewhere Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg were laughing their butts off. The elves, if you didn't recognize them, Dan Starkey obviously plays Strax, just looks a little weird without his Strax makeup on. Nathan McMullen is actually from Misfits, that's where most people probably recognize him from. I was glad later in the episode that they did call back to this moment, Clara meeting him on the rooftop for the first time. Number 4, Faye Marseille dances the dream crabs away for the first time. This was like our first intro to the dream crabs, and we don't really get a lot of context, but just the fact that she starts dancing to the Christmas music was just so hilarious. It just seems like the appropriate weirdness for a Doctor Who Christmas special episode. It's like something that Matt Smith would do, just start dancing wildly. If you didn't recognize her, I mean, at least I think of Faye Marseille as mostly being from the White Queen, but she has done some other stuff too. She was actually one of my favorite characters in the Christmas special just in general, like the guest stars. It really felt like they were teasing her as a potential new companion. So I will totally add her to my list of people I'd like to see become companions in Series 9. Faye Marseille for the next Doctor Who companion. She just lands right in that perfect territory where she's super quick, she has a super quick wit, she's funny, and it looks like she's a little starved for adventure. Given that she's a Game of Thrones fan, don't you just wonder why she didn't conjure Tyrion or Jaime Lannister or someone else from Westeros to save her? I mean, this is a Doctor Who special, so I didn't expect any Game of Thrones jokes, so I was actually really happy when I saw that on her paper at the end. If you really want to put your tinfoil theory hat on, her saying I'm scared and the doctor replying, good, that means you're not an idiot, is the best sign that he thinks someone has companion potential. Like if the doctor is subtly evaluating people, like everyone he meets, sizing them up, I think that would be a big plus if he were in the market for a new companion. Especially at the end when she wants to exchange numbers with everyone. It just reminded me of the girl in the shop. And I think her character actually said she did work in a shop. I can't remember what type of shop it was though. Just so many coincidences, but if we're talking in Sherlock terms, there's no such thing as coincidences. The universe is rarely so lazy. Number 3, Michael Troughton really likes Ridley Scott. For those that don't know, Michael Troughton is the younger son of the second Doctor. He actually has an older brother. They've both done a lot of Doctor Who stuff. Previously, Michael has been in a Big Finish story, a second Doctor Big Finish story called The Lords of the Red Planet. It's really his older brother David that's been in a lot of Doctor Who. He was in Midnight during Series 4, he was in a lot of classic episodes as a child with his father when Patrick Troughton was still playing the second Doctor on TV. He's played villains in a couple Big Finish stories, and he was one of the Dalek operators during the Five-ish Doctors reboot during the 50th anniversary last year. And in real life, I think they've also starred with some of the other Doctors, former Doctors that is, in outside productions, stuff that isn't Doctor Who. Just to explain the alien joke that he made though to the Doctor, which I think is totally hilarious. The Doctor has never heard of Ridley Scott. Apparently he's not a fan. Although I do think that he has seen films. He understands what movies are. But they called out Alien literally, because of the facehuggers. But I also saw Dream Warriors from Nightmare on Elm Street whenever he got sucked into the TV. Then you have John Carpenter's The Thing, with aliens being dug out of the ice. And then you have the Inception angle with the dreams within dreams. Especially with that ending moment too, with the tangerine. That's like the little top spinning at the end of Inception. One of my favorite things about Doctor Who is that it's not afraid to get super meta like this and do these kinds of jokes. Usually what they do whenever they're conceiving episodes is they have their storyline, and then after the fact, after the story is done, they're like, hey, let's kind of make this look like Dream Warriors or Poltergeist where someone gets sucked into the TV. They don't intentionally write it to be like some other movie. Usually those references are added after the fact. I like the idea that Moffat wrote the special and then after the fact was like, this kind of looks like John Carpenter's The Thing, or maybe the Alien movie. Number 2, Danny Pink cameo. They said ahead of time that they'd be referencing the events of the finale, so Danny Pink was at least going to be mentioned. I was a little surprised to see him, but the minute Clara went into the dream, I felt like we all probably knew, yeah, we're probably going to see Danny Pink here. I like that they paid off the blackboards too. Blackboards were such a big deal during Series 8. They didn't totally explain it. I mean, it's just, as far as we know, the Doctor likes to write things down. In the episode, he's trying to tell Clara something through her subconscious, but maybe during Series 8 when he wrote on all those blackboards and wasn't sure who wrote those things down, he was trying to tell himself something subconsciously. I think that mostly dovetailed with the Master coming back, like he was trying to tell himself about that, but it's possible that it could have been something else. Moffat's been honest about the fact that Series 8, as well as Capaldi's run in general, isn't quite as planned out as Matt Smith's run. Like whenever Matt Smith started his run, he had a pretty good idea of where Trenzalore was going. He said that now, though, he only has a few ideas about the twist. He doesn't have it completely worked out, just because I think they're not really sure when Capaldi's going to leave. He has signed on through Series 10, but it remains to be seen whether or not he's going to make it as long as Matt Smith or David Tennant. Samuel Anderson was totally great. They played it a little fast and loose with the logic. Really, it's Clara talking to herself, even though the Doctor is in there also talking to her. Like the way they share dreams is a little fuzzy on the logic. There's two ways to think about it. The dream crabs are like the holodeck, like they set the stage and your mind fills in the gaps, like it creates everything. Or you could look at some of the characters as being created by the dream crabs. I think it's the first one. I think that the dream crabs just create the holodeck and you are completely responsible for filling it out with the scenario. That's why they can conjure Santa to defend themselves as like a defense mechanism. Danny Pink is also kind of in that Santa vein, and he was even wearing a Santa costume. And the Doctor even called her out on it. You know that this is fake. So I think that she conjured Danny Pink as a way to see him again and as a defense mechanism. Just for those that are asking, yes, I do think that Danny Pink is still dead. There isn't some crazy twist. This isn't going to be some Inception middle finger from Moffat saying that it was all a dream. The tangerine at the end did kind of make you wonder that, but no, I don't think that it's going to be that crazy. I think he is still dead. Danny Pink's still dead. That was what the whole Last Christmas theme was about. Their very last Christmas, or the bonus Christmas, like Danny Pink called it. And my number one moment, Doctor Who Inception. You could look at the Dreams Within Dreams twist a couple different ways. One, it's a little bit of a middle finger saying that, oh, none of this was real. You spent all this time invested in this storyline. Haha. I don't get too upset by stuff like that. I mean, I think it's okay. I'd be more pissed off if they did that in the finale, where they were like, this whole season has been a dream. That would be bullcrap. The whole idea of the shared dream, or shared nightmare, as the Doctor eventually called it whenever it turned into Poltergeist and people started getting sucked into the TV. It goes all the way back to Listen, with little boy Danny Pink. And the Doctor has that crazy idea, what if we all have the same nightmare? Everyone in the universe, all at some point in their lives. Like the idea of a shared dream. And I know there are a lot of questions about Santa maybe not being a Time Lord. I don't think that he is, but the fact that there was a tangerine at the end, and I do think that they were awake, although it was kind of meant to be the big question mark, are they dreaming? Are they not dreaming? I think he's an alien like the Doctor who has some metaphysical properties. Although I do like the idea of the Rudolph clicker, like the beeper, like he closes them like a car door. It does make you wonder if he has Time Lord technology. And I know a lot of people weren't huge fans of it, but the whole real, not real, is the Doctor fictitious? Is he a real person? Goes back to Robot of Sherwood with Robin Hood. Is Robin Hood real? Is he not real? Do the Doctor's adventures have to be real to influence people? Or is the effect that they have on people the only thing that matters? Really, to me, that feels like the big hand wave, don't worry too much about this. All that matters is that these Doctor Who stories make you feel something. I've seen that in a lot of cartoons this year. Don't overanalyze things. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. So every once in a while, I do just find myself getting swept up in stories and having fun. Just one more big Moffat fairy tale. Let me know though, what was your favorite moment from the episode? And here's my big question for you guys. Would you guys want to see Faye March, say she played Shona, would you want to see her become the next companion? Just an update on Series 9. So yes, Clara, as seen in the episode when they announced it, she's coming back for Series 9. Supposedly, she'll be leaving after the first couple of episodes, maybe as late as halfway through the series. As far as we know, that's the plan right now. That could always change. She could always change her mind and stay on for the entire series or leave sooner. They're still planning that out. They've only planned the first couple of episodes, even though Moffat has an idea for what he wants the twist to be in the finale. He was talking about it in the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine. He just said, I have an idea for what the big twist is going to be at the end of Series 9. But it's not as planned out as Trenzalore was whenever Matt Smith started in the 11th hour. So here are just a couple of the Easter eggs that I haven't already mentioned. One of my favorite ones is when they're reading the first word out of the books. Clara has them all open it to page 12. The words are very, very, very good. It's like Capaldi and Moffat are just patting themselves on the back just a little bit. I don't think that they were trying to make a direct reference to it, but I do think that when Capaldi, whenever the Doctor was explaining the brain freeze, it was a little there will be blood. Like, I take your milkshake, your brain milkshake, and drink it up. That's all I could think about. I take your brain milkshake. Nick Frost had a lot of good jabs at the Doctor, mostly calling him out as potentially fictitious too. But the Dreamy Weemy is a nice spin on Timey Wimey. I'm really hoping it doesn't catch on though. I'm not a big fan of Dreamy Weemy. As we learned, Series 9 Episode 1, gonna be called The Magician's Apprentice. There was actually a line that Shona had whenever she was scolding the Doctor. That's not very nice for someone who looks like a magician. They really are leaning into the magician joke. I totally appreciate that. And the really big one was it looked like the Doctor, whenever he woke up from his dream crap, was inside the volcano from the finale, which implies he could have gone back there. He could have been somewhere else, like it could have not been the volcano. It just looks like the same set. That actually had me worried. I was like, oh man, please don't let the finale be a dream. So if you saw any other Easter eggs that I didn't mention, just write them below in the comments. Generally, it was a lot of fun. Overall, I gave the episode a solid A. It was great as a Christmas episode. Very self-contained, while still having a lot of references to some of the events during the regular series. I always give bonus points to stories when you don't have to completely understand everything, because I always try to get new people into Doctor Who, and it's really hard to do that when the story depends on other episodes. It's like you could have watched this without understanding who Danny Pink is, and you'd have just known that he was someone who had passed away who was very precious to Clara. Capaldi felt very on character, he was just still the same standoffish Doctor. Who are you people? Sorry, I erased you. Very Mind Palace-y, very Sherlock-y. I know a lot of people have opinions about Clara. I did feel like Jenna Coleman did a good job in this episode. I'm interested to see what they do with her character, like if they decide to pursue the Dr. Clara more, or Dr. Oswald, however you want to think about her. I'd like to see them take a break from that, so I was kind of glad when she didn't go all Doctor in this episode. It did seem like she was unusually scared of the dream crabs. I thought the screaming was a little much. I mean, if she could take on the Cybermen, if she could lie to their face to save herself, why was she so scared of the dream crabs? She went from cold-blooded killer in the span of a couple months or however long it's been since the events of the finale in the timeline to scared girl again. They did imply that she was going to start moving on, so it seems like she's going to be a little more positive in future episodes, which I think is great because Clara being depressed is no fun. There's no room for being depressed on the TARDIS. When you have all of time and space, you're not allowed to be depressed. All the guest actors were great. Michael Troughton, it was so much fun seeing him. Faye Marseille was probably my favorite though, just because I feel like she has so much companion potential. And for those that are asking, I feel like Moffat does know who the next companion is going to be. If they're going to shoot the first episode really soon, he probably has at least a list of 3 or 4 people that they've winnowed it down to. If they haven't picked someone, they're really close to picking someone. They announced Samuel Anderson's casting pretty early in the process whenever they were filming Series 8, so it's possible we could find out by February or March who the new companion's going to be. And I really am hoping that we see the new companion in the premiere, at least in a cameo. So just a couple quick updates on what's happening this week. So things are slowly getting back to normal. They'll be shooting the Sherlock Christmas special before the first episode of Series 9, so I will be doing some videos for Sherlock in the next couple days. I'm also working on a Q&A for tomorrow, so be sure to leave all your questions, and if you guys want me to do a live Q&A on my Twitch channel, let me know. I'll actually put a link to my Twitch channel in the description. My next Doctor Who bonus video is probably going to be just ranking all my favorite Christmas specials, just now that we have a new one, just to kind of put them all in context again. So if you do have a big favorite Christmas special, let me know in the comments too. Right now, if you're on your mobile phone or on a tablet, you can actually click here for new mobile links. Yay, mobile links. It's the same as the links over here. So click here for that Q&A that I'll be posting tomorrow, and click here for all my other Doctor Who bonus videos. Thank you so much for watching. So everybody, happy holidays. Enjoy some time, enjoy your vacation, hopefully you get one. Let's all high five. I'll see you tonight.